We continue now at the top of Daf Yomi from Meseches Chagigah. This is Chagigah Daf 11b. The Gemara in the previous summit had quoted the Mishnah, which said that arayos is something that has something to rely on in the psukim. And the Gemara asks again, it's explicitly written arayos in the Torah. What do you mean there's something to rely on? So the Gemara says we need it for lebito me'anusaso. Let's say a person has a daughter, but that daughter is a product of rape. That also is included in arayos. The lo ksiva, that's not written in the Torah. That's something, again, it's learned out. The Amar Rava, because Rava says, Amar li Rav Yitzchak bar Avdimi. Rav Yitzchak bar Avdimi said to me, Asya heina heina, Asya zima zima. These halachas I learned out from Gzeira Shava of heina heina. I learned out from Gzeira Shava of zima zima. We'll take a look at Rashi over here. Levito me'anusaso de lo ksiva. His daughter from a product of rape is not written. De'ilu bito me'ishto ksiva ervas isho bito v'gomer. When it comes to his daughter from his wife, that's explicit pasuk. The erva of his wife and daughter, mashma bein shabas mimenu, bein meishacher. It's implied whether the daughter is from him or from another man. Now there's another pasuk that talks about the daughter of his son, daughter of your son, daughter of your daughter, meaning to say granddaughter. Now the Gemara in Yevama says that's talking about a bas bitcha. The bitcha is me'anusaso. It's a product of rape. This pasuk only talks about granddaughter, doesn't talk about daughter. So you understand that the granddaughter is an arayas, but we don't have the daughter being an arayas. Now maybe you'll say it's a kal v'chomer. If the granddaughter, a product of ones, is going to be arayas, certainly the daughter itself, the product of ones, is going to be an arayas. But for that, we don't use kal v'chomers for azharas and for punishments. Kal v'chomer dinei mamanis u'mitzvos aseh v'hilchas avoda p'sulei kodshim atalamed b'kal v'chomer. These other kinds of areas of halacha we use kal v'chomer. Avalo azharas v'onshin, but not by warnings and punishments. We don't use kal v'chomer for that. We learn that idea from Sukkim. So then where then is the source? If you can't use the kal v'chomer, what is the source? And so Rashi continues, Amar Rav Amar li Rav Yitzchak bar Avdime asya heino heino li isura asya zima zima l'sreifa. The source is the Gzeir Shavas, the Gemara quoted. So to learn out the Isser, it's a Gzeir Shav of heina. To learn out the punishment of Sreifa, that's a Gzeir Shava of Zima. And Rashi explains the Gzeir Shavas, Ksib ben Isuin, Shara heina zima hi, Ksib ba'onsin, Kervas chaheina, uses the word heina both times. Maha Omer ben Isuin, Asa akasav bita kevas bito, chavas bina. Just like by Nisuin there, the daughter's equivalent to the granddaughter. Af ba'onsin, Asa akasav bito kevas bito, chavas bina. Same thing by onsin. Asya zima zima l'sreifa, and zima, that's used for the punishment of burning. Me'achar shalamato anusa min nesua. Once we already learned this halacha of anusa from nesua, over nesua ksiv zima hi, by nesua uses the word zima. Kemadich ksiv banusa dami, so by the case of rape as well, it's as if it's a thing. V'chazar v'lomid ba sreifa, you understand sreifa there also. Me'isha shar yigach chazisha v'asima zima hi, b'ishisrofu, oso v'yasen. So that's the sources for this halacha. Again, it has what to rely on the psukim, but it's not explicit in the psukim. The Gemara continues at the two dots. The Mishnah said, Hein hein gufei Torah. These are the main parts of the Torah. The Gemara says, Hani in hanachlo. These are the main ones. The other ones are not. As Rashi over here says, Hani in hanachlo. Hani de mefarshi. The ones that are explained have a gufa Torah. Those are the ones that are considered like the main part of the Torah. Hanach de lo mefarshi kulihai. The ones that are not so clearly explained in the psukim. Lav gufei Torah. That's not the main part of the Torah. Bitmiya. That's a wonderment. So the Gemara says, Elaima hein vehein gufei Torah. The way you should read the Mishnah is, they are all considered gufei Torah. Whether they're explicit in the psukim or not, they're considered gufei Torah. Hadron aloch hakol chayavin. That is the end. We will return to you parak hakol chayavin. That is the end of the first parak of Meseches Chagigah. If you're enjoying this channel and these videos, please like, share, and subscribe. And you can take a look at the description box below to see how you can support this channel. And we will now begin the second parak of Meseches Chagigah. The Mishnah says, Ein darshan ba'arayos b'shlosha. You're not allowed to darshan in the laws of arayos with three people. V'lo b'maisa b'reishos b'shnayim. You're not allowed to darshan in the laws of creation or in the story of creation with two people. V'lo b'merkava, not in the maisa merkava. That's the section in Yechezkel b'yachid. Can't even do that with one person. Unless the person is a wise person and has understanding. Other than that, you're limited. Anyone who tries to look into the following four things, would be better if the person was never created. And what are these four things? Malamala, malamata, what is above and what is below. Malifnim, malachar, what is before, what happened before, and what happened after in the future. Anyone who doesn't have mercy on the honor of the Creator, better that he was not created at all. And we'll take a look at Rashi over here. In darshan b'shlosha, you're not allowed to darshan with three people. Now, three people, when it says in the Mishnah, three people by arayas, it means shnayim v'hu. It means two people and him. That's a total of three. B'shnayim echad v'hu means one person and him. And b'yachid, when it talks about yachid, it means ein sham elahu levado, meaning him alone. Uva Gemara Mefarshla. Now the Gemara is really going to explain exactly what this means. Arba Devarim Hani de Mefarsh ve'Ozil. You're not supposed to look into 4 things which the Mishnah explains. Mala. Now the way Rashi understands Lamala is Meirakia. What is above the Rakia? Sha'al Roshei HaChayos. On the heads of the Chayos. Umalamata Mehen. And what is below that area of the Chayos of the Roshei HaChayos? That's how Rashi understands Lamala and Lamata. Umalifnim. Now we translate Lifnim means what was before, like before creation. Rashi has slightly different. Chutz lemechitzas harakia lemizrach means outside the wall of the rakia to the east. Umala'achor lemayrav, that means what's behind, means to the west. And Rashi over here continues Tosefis. This is an additional comment. Eino yachalios bershamoras. There's an additional comment, seems to be not made from Rashi. Can't be the explanation that Rashi is giving on lifnim and la'achor has to do with outside the mechitzas harakia. Ma'lifnim chutz lemechitzas harakia umala'achor lemayrav. Why is that not possible? It's not possible because the Gemara asks, the Gemara is going to ask, what's wrong with lifnim? Whatever happened, happened. That sounds like the way we explain the Mishnah from before, meaning in the past. You see that lifnim means what existed before the world was created. That's Tosas' addition to Rashi. Again, it says over there in the Tosefta, what was before time and what will be at the end of time. That's what it means. What does this mean at the end of the Mishnah? Mishnah said if you don't have mercy on the honor of the Creator, the Gemara will explain that. It would have been better for the person had he not come to the world, had he not been created. And the Gemara says, Amrit Bereisha v'lo b'merkava b'yachid. You said in the beginning of the Mishnah that you can't learn Maisa Merkava with one person. And again, as Rashi explained, means to this person alone. V'hadar Amrit, but then you say, Elim Kain hayachacham u'mevin midaito, that if he's a chacham, if he understands, he could do it. Seems like a contradiction. And so the Gemara explains, here's how you understand the Mishnah. Hachi Kamer, this is what the Mishnah means. Ein darshan ba'arayos lishlosha. You can't darshan in arayos to 3 people. V'lo b'maisa b'reishis lishnayim, and you can't teach maisa b'reishis to 2 people. V'lo b'merkava liyachad, you can't teach merkava to 1 person. Elim kein hayachacham u'mevin midaito, unless the person is a chacham and understands, then you're allowed to teach to this number of people because the person the student who's receiving is considered to be a chacham, so it's okay to teach. We'll take a look at Rashi over here. Amrit v'lo b'merkava b'yachad v'kevan diyachidihu ve'eno shomea mipi rav. Now, if this person's alone, the way we first understand, and he's not listening to a Rebbe, of course he's understanding it, he's learning it on his own. But then you say it's usher, even though he understands. Then you say, oh, if he's a chacham, then all of a sudden you could. What do you mean? He is a chacham, he's totally alone. And so the Gemara says you have to change the understanding of the Mishnah. L'shlosha levad min hadorish. L'shlosha means you can't teach 3 people besides the person doing the teaching. Lo b'maisa b'reishas l'shnayim v'kol shekein l'shlosha. You can't teach maisa b'reishas to 2, and you certainly can't teach to 3. V'lo b'merkava liyachid l'talmud yachid. You can't teach merkava to 1 talmud. Elam kein hayachacham u'mevin midaito, unless the person you're teaching to is a chacham. Shalo yitzdarech lisho l'rav k'sheyistapik lo means it's a kind of talmud. Doesn't need to ask questions to the rav when he has a suffix. The lav orach ara l'frushe behedya, because this kind of a topic is not the kind of topic that you're supposed to explain so clearly. So it has to be a student who can pick up on the hints of the Rebbe and understand what the Rebbe is saying. Gemara continues at the 2 dots. Ein darshan ba'arayos b'shlosha. We're not allowed to teach the arayos to 3 people. My time, and what's the reason? If you say it's learned from the pasuk because it says ishish, ishish is tray, so the word ish twice means 2 people. She'er besaro chad, and she'er besaro means 1. The Amar Achmana lo sikravu lagalos erev we darshan. You're not allowed to teach this section to 3 people. That's learned from the psukim. There's other times it says ishish. We're going to learn out similar halachas from there. Rather, the word ish is to include the non-Jews. They're also warned against cursing God, yikalel. They're also warned against doing avodah zarah when it talks about mizaro lamolech. It says birchas Hashem. That's a euphemism, blessing God. It's really referring to cursing God. Ish comes to include the non-Jews. Here also, it's coming to include the non-Jews, ishish, that they're warned on arayos, just like the Jews. So it can't be that we're learning from ishish. Rather, the reason is it says that you're going to guard my guardings. Guarding is implying 2, mishmarti is another 1. Again, that's the limitation of 3 people by arayos. Pasuk goes on to say not to do these abominations. So again, the same idea. You're not allowed to teach the arayos to 3 people. But according to that, uses the same language by Shabbos, by Matzos, by Mishmeres HaKodesh, talking about over there by the Mizbeach, Mishmeres HaKodesh, Mishmeres HaMizbeach. So there also, Hachanami, we should make the same drasha. It's talking about teaching people. Elama Ravashi, rather Ravashi says these are not the sources. Mayin Darshan Barayos Beshlosha. What does it mean? You can't darshan and arayas to 3 people. Ein darshan besisrei arayas. It means to say the hidden things of arayas you can't do lishlosha to 3 people. My time, what's the reason? Svaru. It means to say it's logical. It's not learned from a pasuk. This is a logical idea. Because Beitrei Kiyasvi Kami Rabayu, if there are 2 people sitting in front of their Rebbe, Chad Shakal V'Tari Ba'adei Rabbi, one of them will be discussing things with his Rebbe. V'idach Matzli Yudnei L'Gemar, the other one is paying attention, is listening. To Lasa, but if you have 3 people sitting by the Rebbe, Chad Shakal V'Tari Ba'adei Rabbi, one is discussing with the Rebbe. V'anach Trei Shakal V'Tari Ba'adei Adadi, the other 2 are start talking with each other. V'lo Yadi My Kamar Rabayu, they don't know what the Rebbe is saying. V'asu L'Mishrei Yisura Ba'arayas. And then they're going to come and they're going to end up permitting something which was really asur ba'arayos. So that's what it means. The sisrei arayos, the secrets, so to speak, of the arayos, things that are difficult to understand. If it's 3 people, we're afraid they're going to misinterpret. Gemara says, Yachi kol Torah nami. If so, all of the Torah, you shouldn't have 3 people there because we don't want students to misunderstand. So the Gemara says, no, arayos shani. When it comes to arayos, it's different. The Amar Mar, because the master said, Gezel v'arayos. When it comes to thievery, when it comes to arayos, nafsha mechamdasan, umesavalem, those are things the soul desires, very easy to get trapped into the Yetzer Hara, and therefore it's easy for a person to make a mistake in the halacha. Gemara says, Yachi, if so, gezel nami. When it comes to stealing also, we should have this limitation of 3 people. Arayos ben befanav ben shalo befanav nafish yitzrei. No, by arayos, whether it's right in front of him or not, he's going to have a Yetzer Hara for it. Gezel befanav nafish yitzrei, shalo befanav lo nafish yitzrei. When it comes to stealing, so if it's right in front of him, he'll have a Yetzer Hara. But just if he's learning in a class, learning in a shir, it's not right in front of him something to steal, there is no Yetzer Hara for it. And Rashi says, Besisrei arayos, the secrets of arayos, what does that mean? She'enon mifurashos, it means things that are not explained clearly. Could go and bito me'anusaso, like what we mentioned earlier on the Yomid, his daughter, case of rape, ve'im chama, ve'im chamosa, the mother of his father-in-law, etc. The nafkim Mesech Sanhedrin midrasha, all the cases that are learned out from drashas, those are the ones you're not supposed to teach to 3 people. The Gemara continues at the 2 dots, v'lo b'maisa b'reishis b'shnayim, you're not allowed to teach maisa b'reishis to 2 people. Menohan, immediately from where do we know this? The Tanur Rabban and the rabbis taught, Kishalno liyamim rishonim, you're asking for the days of the early days. Yachid shoel ve'in shnayim shoelin. Means 1 person can ask, but you shouldn't have 2 people asking. Yachol yishal adam kodem shenivra olam. I might think that a person can even ask about that which was before creation. It says from the day that man was created, you can't do before the world was created. Well, from that pasuk, maybe you shouldn't ask about the 6 days of creation. That was before man was created. The days that were before you, so you're allowed to ask about the sheishas yimei bereshis. I might think a person can ask what's above, what's below, what's before, what's after. Talmud Lomer, the pasuk says, it says from one edge of the heavens to the other edge of the heavens. You can ask that which is in the borders, so to speak, that is enclosed by the heavens. You shouldn't ask about that which is above or below or before or after. We'll take a look at Rashi over here. How do you know 2 people can't ask about Maisa Bereshis? Maybe you could ask what's before the creation of the world. Maybe it's only from the creation of man. We can't ask about things before the creation of man. You can ask already from the first day of creation. You can ask those kind of questions. We'll continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Yud Beis Amud Aleph.